9 days. That's how long it took the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago to rule that Indiana's gay marriage ban is unconstitutional.
But there are still unanswered questions in the wake of today's ruling. News Channel 15's Lamar Holliday joins us now with more.
The main question is, what does this mean for those Indiana same-sex couples who got married in June? Well, a stay remains in effect, and those same-sex couples' marriages are still in limbo. Both sides of this issue say the battle is far from over. It was a unanimous decision among the 3 federal appeals judges to strike down Indiana's gay marriage ban as well as Wisconsin's. Judge Richard Posner said in his opinion, quote, "The only rationale that the states put forth with any conviction that same-sex couples and their children don't need marriage because same-sex couples can't produce children, intended or unintended, is so full of holes that it cannot be taken seriously."
It really based its decision on the inadequacy of the reasons that Wisconsin and Indiana gave for the discrimination here. And I thought did a very good job in pointing out why those reasons were inadequate.
Posner also challenged arguments in favor of the bans by saying, quote, "The state treats married homosexuals as would-be free riders on heterosexual marriage, unreasonably reaping benefits intended by the state for fertile couples. But infertile couples are free riders too." Kinfolk with the American Civil Liberties Union says this issue will have to be decided by the highest court of the land.
I'm hoping that the court will take this up next year and we'll have a definitive answer.
Indiana Attorney General Greg Zeller wants an answer as well, and sooner rather than later. He released this statement saying, quote, "It seems clear that a final resolution of the constitutional issues involving states' authority over their marriage licenses would need a decision from our nation's highest court." He continues, "Hopefully for the interests of everyone on both sides of these cases, the Supreme Court will make a ruling sooner rather than later." Zeller says he will request an extended stay on today's ruling until this matter is heard by the Supreme Court. Justice Elena Kagan will make the decision on the stay. In Studio 15 tonight, Lamar Holliday, News Channel 15.
So as long as that stay is in effect, same-sex couples here in Indiana still cannot marry. And the big question now is, how long might it take for the Supreme Court to make a defining ruling on this issue of gay marriage? According to an interview with Chief Justice John Roberts, it generally takes about 6 weeks for the court to get a petition and decide whether to issue a writ of certiorari. That is the Latin term for a writ seeking judicial review. In order for the court to issue a certiorari, the justices first have to meet and vote on whether to hear the case. A simple majority of 5 justices is needed. If a certiorari is issued, both sides will then have the chance to make their arguments before the high court. The court typically hears oral arguments from October through the end of April, then convenes in May and June only to render opinions on cases. That means the court could potentially hear a case involving same-sex marriage within a matter of weeks and then make a ruling this spring. The court could also decide not to hear the issue. In that case, the lower court's ruling from today would stand.